Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm Denise from First. I have CIE Ichthyosis.
Hey everyone, I am Jeyza and I have lamellar ichthyosis.
We wanted to share a few words about the story behind tonight's event before we got started. A few months ago, Jeyza spoke up and pointed out to us the ways that First could improve how we serve Black members. I was shocked. Living with ichthyosis, I grew up feeling alone when I was around unaffected people, but at first, I never felt alone. I never felt like I didn't belong. But I've learned that over the years, not all groups have felt welcome like that at First. For the last few months, about 15 of us have been working together to bring you tonight's event.
We felt it was necessary to acknowledge the disparity in representation within the First community and take the step toward rehabilitation and establish a meaningful rapport with all Black and people of color. This event is the first step toward that. We want it to be known that all perspectives will be valued and none will go unheard from here on out.
Exactly. This is the first step of many. And for tonight's first step, we're working with the Release the Butterfly crew with song and performance. And we're looking to bring us all together. We know we've got a lot more work ahead of us.
Yes, but we are making progress. We hope that you listen with an open mind and give yourself a chance to feel and experience the stories that we're going to present tonight. And we really thank you for being here.
Yes, we really thank everyone for being here. We thank the audience, of course, for coming. We ask for your respect and consideration of the stories being shared. I remind you that everyone's emotional threshold is a little bit different. So if you need help, we'll always be able to put you in touch with mental health professionals. For the parents watching, please be aware of the content. Most of what we're dealing with is just kind of the real honest stories of living with ichthyosis. But again, everyone's emotional threshold is different. We are also very grateful for those that have come forward with their stories to share. It takes a lot of bravery to share your story of living with ichthyosis. So thank you to all of those that have come forward to share with us tonight. It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you our first co-host, John from California. John has been a longtime ally of First, and this is his first time joining us at an event. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Denise. And hello, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to be part of tonight's In My Skin event. And before we start sharing some special performances and stories today, I'd like to introduce someone who loves his family, loves his church, and describes himself as quote unquote, annoyingly optimistic. Live from Pennsylvania, please welcome my other co-host, Lowell Wright.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you very much, John, for that wonderful introduction. I am Lowell Wright, and I just wanted to take a moment to first off say thank you to everyone from the First Foundation just for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to co-host this along with John. And that being said, I'm just going to move right along in introducing Abby. Now, Abby Evans is a part of the Release the Butterfly Tour, aka RTB. Release the Butterfly is a group that performs in collaboration with First. Along with introducing the RTB song, Abby is also going to give us a brief explanation about ichthyosis. So, without further ado, I would like to present to some and introduce to others, Abby Evans. Abby?
Thank you so much, Lowell. It's so great to have you and John tonight co-hosting this amazing event, and I really appreciate the introduction. So I first wanted to give a little bit of a definition about what ichthyosis is and what it encompasses for this community. So ichthyosis is a group of more than 25 rare genetic skin conditions. Ichthyosis is not contagious, and you will not catch it by touching someone with ichthyosis. Ichthyosis is generally characterized by dry, scaly skin, and it can also lead to other very serious health issues, such as the inability to regulate one's body temperature, a compromised immune system, and joint and mobility concerns. So the Release the Butterfly team recognizes, as Denise mentioned, that over the years, the ichthyosis community may not have been home for everyone. So from us to you, you will be found.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Crashing through when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around, you will be found.
You are not alone. What an inspiring message to kick things off RTV. Thank you, Tracy, Michaela, Hunter, Bailey, and Ross for that beautiful musical treat. And that was called You Will Be Found. So as we continue tonight's In My Skin event, we wanted to explore how someone might define diversity in its truest form. Reciting a poem entitled I Dream a World, please welcome Angela Lowry-Sellers.
Hello, my name is Angela, and I will be reciting one of my favorite poems by poet Langston Hughes. It's titled, I Dream a World. I dream a world where man no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth, and peace its paths adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth, and every man is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head, and joy, like a pearl, attends the needs of all mankind. Of such I dream my world.
Well, thank you very much, Angela. I hope that one day we all get to see that world together. That was a wonderful poem that you did. Coming next, we are actually going to have a story from Puveri Tjikuua, who is a young lady who I got to meet a few years ago from Namibia. And she is going to be explaining a story that is impactful, that was an impactful moment about her childhood. Let's take a moment and see what Puveri has to say.
Hi, it's Puveri Tjikuua from Namibia. I would just like to share a little of my experience that happened to me when I was young, around about the age of 9 and 10. What happened was that it was an early morning at school, and we were preparing for a devotion, since it was a Christian school that I attended when I was smaller. And a teacher from school, she was not necessarily my teacher around about that time. She approached me and came to my desk, and she said, yeah, you're having a smell. I'm like, okay. No, it's not your skin, but maybe it's your hair. And my hair was not braided then. It was not braided at all. And then she said, after everyone goes to devotion, I'm going to take you to my house, and then we wash your hair. And then so everyone left for the devotion, and I was left in the class. And then she came again to my desk, and then we drove to her house. So as we arrived at her house, we went in, and then she took me to her room, and then she undid my hair in a ponytail it was in. And then she was like, oh, I thought your hair texture is different, but your hair will be difficult to manage. And then we went to the bathroom, and then she started washing my hair and all this, and used her products and everything. And then we came back to her room, and then as she was combing my hair, she said, wow, I actually thought like your hair would be much more difficult to manage, because it's like you guys usually have a different texture from our hair, because she was white. She was a white lady. And then so she did my hair, braided my hair, and we went back to school. And she did it so fast that I wouldn't be even noticed from my friends that I wasn't at school, or when they got back to class that I would be there. So we went back to school, and then my friends were asking me, hey, where were you the entire time? Where were you? You didn't come with us. And then I said, no, I was just in class. Yeah, and then the day ended at school, and I went home, and then I was asking the lady that helped, who did my hair, because she was staying with us, who took care of me back then when I was small. And then I asked her, is my hair, what's wrong with my hair? But I mean, is my hair fine? And they're like, no, I did your hair this morning, and it's clean, and there was nothing wrong with it. I'm like, okay. And then she asked me, who braided your hair? Because the teacher had braided my hair. And I was like, no, it's my friends. They were playing with my hair at school. And I never shared the story with my family or my parents when I came back home. But as I began to understand that day, I was just like, why would an adult and in a small school, a private school, would actually take a child to their house and wash their hair, like without the parents' consent? And to this day, I don't even understand, was it based on my race, or was it actually was it discrimination against my race, or was it because of my skin condition that I have? And it's sad that I didn't tell this to my parents when I came back home about the situation. I kept quiet all along. I mean, it could have been dealt with. But yeah, and it left me what hurt. I was kind of hurt and, so insecure when people touch my hair and stuff like that. Like it's something that I don't like. Unless I really trust you, then I let you touch my hair. Yeah, so that's my little experience that I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Puveri, for recounting that moment and having the courage to share experiences like that. I think we all can understand experiences from our own childhood, both good and bad, stay with us for the remainder of our lives. And it's important to acknowledge when we're having those difficult moments. And for those of you who just may be joining us on the stream, you're watching the In My Skin event. I'm John, one of your co-hosts, and I wanted to move forward with our next moment that highlights how one's faith can affect relationships. So sharing a story about Kim Wright, please welcome our next presenter, Hunter Steinitz.
Only through faith. I embrace the cultural and background differences in our union. Black, white, AME, Catholic, age difference. We've had many challenging times, being an interracial couple and Lowell having ichthyosis. Treating each other with dignity and respect are the foremost in our marriage. We both grew up in a day and time that interracial marriage was not well accepted by our parents' generation. I had so many questions for my mother-in-law who passed away. What it must have been like for her to be a single mother, African-American, raising a black son with ichthyosis, when other people's attitudes and judgments can be so negative. Her faith in God was her strength. I find the most acceptance in our families, our church families, and our First Foundation family. Mrs. Wright would have been so proud of Lowell's journey in the ministry and the love, help, and support of First. We are truly a blessed union.
Okay, wow. So that was my wife, and I intentionally did not listen to that beforehand. And okay, I'm just going to take a moment here, and I wanted to thank her for your words. I love you and I appreciate you. And before I end up crying, I'm going to just go ahead and move on. So the next person that we have up is Kaylee Brown, and she is going to be doing a poem that she wrote herself called "I Have a Twin." And "I Have a Twin" talks about her experiences growing up with ichthyosis with an unaffected family member. So Kaylee, take it away.
This is a poem I wrote called I Have a Twin. I have a twin. A fraternal twin, that is. Our whole lives we've shared everything, but our appearance is where we split. I have a twin. Anyone would want to be her. She has perfect skin, natural curly hair, and well, I have neither, but I have a twin. See, we come from a Haitian culture, one with beautiful colors, humble people, woman with gorgeous natural hair, but what do I have to offer? I have a twin. Since we are adopted, the connection to the culture is not high, but I've always felt that my sister was one step closer to the people than I. Why? Because she got to express her culture through her hair, whereas well, you can see from there. I have a twin. Everywhere we went, she would always get compliments on her hair, while I stood to the side in awkward silence, trying to fake a smile like I cared. But it was a smile filled with anger, a smile filled with jealousy, pain, and spite. A smile that said, hey, you see me too, right? I have a twin. Since I was little, I can remember always wondering, why me? Why do I have to be different? Why don't I get to be the one with the curly hair, the one with the smooth skin? Why do I have to be the one who has to fight to fit in? I have a twin. And as the years passed by, I came to realize that my condition does not define who I am as a person on the inside, and that I can be different, but I can still be beautiful all at the same time. So I am a twin. We share the same culture, color of hair, and the same color of skin. Our black skin does not define us, but rather promote our culture from within. She is beautiful, but so am I, and I'm doing my best not to forget that I am a twin. Me with my condition and her without, yet now our differences keep us close, and our culture is shared throughout our dark skin, throughout our creative days, throughout our happy souls, and our pride in the Haitian ways. So yeah, I am a twin. My skin has told its own story since birth, one of struggles I overcame, one of realizing my own worth. So it's a joy to be different, and it's a joy to be black. I smile now because I know that that is my truth, and it's a fact.
It is a joy to be Black. Thank you, Kaylee. And thanks for sharing your original poem, I Have a Twin, about how you feel unique and different even from your own sister. I think we all can relate to fighting to fit in at some moment. And I think I take away the fact that your condition does not define you as probably one of the truest statements. And so I want to thank everyone for staying with us tonight during our In My Skin event. I'm excited to next introduce another story that gives us a peek into the importance of communication in any relationship. With a candid conversation about their experience as a couple, let's now listen to Sarafina and Kelly.
Hey everyone, I'm Sarafina Arthur Williams, and this is my partner, Kelly Walters. I am so grateful to be a part of the In My Skin event. Before we begin, I just want to let you guys know that I'm currently on vacation and Kelly's at our house, so we're in two separate spaces, but I thought it'd be really fun to still get us on here and just get both of our perspectives. But in that, we are so grateful to be a part of this and to be able to represent people who look like me and also people who look like Miss Walters, but it is our family, so it almost seems fitting. The In My Skin concert is a wonderful event to discuss the importance of Black community and ichthyosis, and so we must highlight all these wonderful people that we often miss because of differences, and being witness to someone who also endures this disease, it is such a huge part of your life, but also becomes super expected, very similar to race. This is what you live with and what you grow with. And so you don't, as your individual self, you don't really notice it until someone else makes a point of it. But in that, we want to be able to feel like we have a community that supports who we are and how we want to move through the world. And like we said earlier, thank you for having us. And I hope that we give you a little glimpse as to what it's like to be within this first community and to have the support here.
Thank you again for having me on here. I've participated in a few different first events, but I still feel really honored to be involved in this capacity and happy to be doing this tonight and to have my partner involved too. It's really great to blend both of our worlds together. my ichthyosis and my struggles with my own skin, and her struggles with her own skin and her race, and how it affects each of us is very real and very relatable in each of our everyday lives. So I think a couple of things we want to touch on are, what's it like being in a relationship with someone with ichthyosis? Mm-hmm. And, how does it impact us? What is it like? So I think I'll start from my perspective. The very first time Fina and I held hands, we went for a walk in the woods, and we went down to this waterfall. And I was super nervous to hold out my hand because, if you know, you know. But what a big moment. What just a simple thing that seems like such a simple thing to do is hold a hand. And yet my heart is racing even more because I'm worrying, like, what if she judges me? What if she looks at my hands? What if it's, and it's just something I have to be cautious of and like almost afraid of, and like this fear I have. But, she still took my hand and didn't think twice. So that's how I knew, a good person and a good heart right from the start. Nowadays, it's a little more funny. I don't like soap in the way it like catches on my skin. So different fabrics are also a no. So it's just like little random things that she is accepting of and accepts from me. Constant vacuuming.
And so in that, having skin that sheds, which is white, and being on black sheets, you see Kelly everywhere. But is it a bad thing? More so, for me, it was more so, how do we make you comfortable in our home? And where does it fester, and how does it collect dust and things like that? And I find that to be very stressful for someone who's just wanting to live their life, For me, being African American, you don't consider what all goes into your skin and what breaks down, because it is who you are, until you have to be more mindful of it, and you have to consider what it looks like as experience as well. Where do I want to go? What outfit do I want to wear? What environment would I want to be in? And what areas are you saying, I don't really prefer that, just so that you can feel comfortable and safe? And then does my skin represent a huge part of who I am that makes it a barrier to be totally comfortable with everyone around me? Meeting you for the first time wasn't a problem at all. I think you're beautiful. The first time I saw her face was bright red, and she had told me that she was just scraping away, trying to like perfect the way she looked for me. Yeah, it's true. And I got out of the car and I was like, oh my God, you're so red. For me, I felt as if she was blushing that she just saw me. And in truth, it had nothing to do with that. I think partially. But this is just something that she's been having to deal with for the longest. Yeah.
I think additionally, we kind of have fun games now. I'll wake up with a random rash on my arm, not quite sure if it came from a soap or something I brushed up against, or it's kind of a fun game like, oh, where'd this rash come from today? I don't know. And it's little adventures we have in life and experience with ichthyosis. And I'm very fortunate that Fina supports me in so many ways, to where I get out of the shower and I don't want to struggle putting lotion on my back. And I'm like, can you please help me? She's always so gracious to help make me feel comfortable. And if I'm getting to the point where I am letting myself go, not taking care of myself, she gives me those reminders like, hey, you should put lotion on your feet today. Take care of yourself. Don't forget. Because when you live with it, it's pretty easy to just accept it. And but it isn't comfortable. Your skin cracks. It doesn't feel good. And she gives me those reminders and helps take care of me to take care of myself. And that's wonderful to have and someone truly. So thank you.
I value that process of caring for you just as you do for me and so many other facets of my life. And with race being a huge part of who I am, we don't allow these differences that we bring into our relationship to dictate how our relationship will go. We encourage it. We're like, these are parts of ourselves that we have compassion for and we have acceptance for, and we fight for, because we can't change these parts of who we are. And I think within that, it helps us be stronger individuals, but then stronger in relationships and how we emote to one another. To be very open-minded and considerate of what I don't know. You are the first person that I've met, Kelly, with ichthyosis, and it's truly been something I've just been interested in knowing and how to be a part of and how to help. I want to be able to capitalize on what makes us unique and what makes us connected. And I think if we didn't have my skin and your skin, what would we be doing? What would be our experiences of the world right now, and how would we be moving through? And so I am honestly so excited to be here and to also be your partner and to be introduced to this whole entire community from you. I was even laughing with Denise earlier, and I was saying, I'm surprised my partner isn't more involved, because you are constantly raving about FIRST and how wonderful they are and how they've helped you support and grow in who you are and your identity. And I just see the good work. I do, and I see the work that your family puts into that as well, even meeting your mom and telling me stories about what it was like taking care of you as a child, and then even into young adulthood. It's tough. It sure is very tough. But you guys always persist, and you're better off for it, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about FIRST is, I grew up in a very small town. I was very, very fortunate. That small town was 15 minutes away from Tracy and Bailey. So, little wins where you can. But overall, there isn't a whole lot of information about ichthyosis. It's not very well known. And had it not been for Tracy and Bailey introducing me to FIRST and getting me involved and my mother involved, who knows what the condition of my skin would be, or where I would be at with that. So I'm very grateful for all the knowledge and for all the ways they've taught me to care for myself, my mother to care for me. And, I really want to support and do anything I can to make sure that every person who is affected with ichthyosis or other related skin types knows of this resource. If nothing else, just to get it out there and let people know they're not alone. And if they don't know what to do, there are people to help them. There are people to help answer those questions, so they can get the care and the love that they need, and to give that to themselves and know they're not alone. They don't need to feel alone. We're all here. We're all a community. And yeah, I really appreciate you being here with me and getting involved with me as I grow in this process. And again, thankful for the opportunity to come on here tonight. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and we'll talk soon.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Wow, what a wonderful video. Kelly and Sarafina, thank you so much for sharing. I know that it could not have been easy to, you opened up about your personal life and your relationship, and just Kelly talking about her skin disorder. I'd like to say, me personally, I can relate to a lot of the things, being a person who also has lamellar ichthyosis. I'm sorry, I'm not sure which kind you have, but being that I have ichthyosis also, and I am also a person who is in an interracial relationship, a lot of that information really hit me, right in the heart, and I took it to home. So I really appreciate everything that you said, both of you. Now, next up is going to be Miss Talyor White, and she is singing a song that originally was written from Sam Cooke and released in 1965. And it reflects the early civil rights struggles. And that song is A Change Is Gonna Come. And I tell you what, she has a wonderful voice. So let's all sit back and listen to Talyor sing us a song.
floating. Oh, and just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's out there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody always telling me, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother, saying, brother, help me please. But it winds up knocking me way down on my knees. Ooh, there've been times that I thought I wouldn't last for long. Now I think I'm finally able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come on. Oh, yes it will. Ooh.
Wow, what a gift. What a wonderful performance. That was Taylor with her rendition of A Change Is Gonna Come. You know, when I hear about change and hear performances like that, I do think that, you know, change is often never really linear, but it does have its own moments of progress as well as regression, but we can always hope over the long term that change is in the right direction. So as we continue tonight's In My Skin event, I'm excited for you to see a collection of artistic images that captures one person's experience living with ichthyosis and sharing her work entitled My Skin Isn't Ugly, It's Art. I'm pleased to bring forward Aicha Kande.
I find it very hard to accept my disease as well as understanding my relationship to it. I could not imagine myself without my ichthyosis, but it's still a disease. Self-love is the most important kind of love, but where does that self part actually end? Is this disease that is making my life unnecessarily harder in so many ways really still me, or is it rather on me? So do I need to love it, or is it enough if I just tolerate it? But at the same time, it's an attribute that I really like in my looks, at least after many years. It's a good conversation opener, and multiple of my friendships actually started with the question, what do you have? Moreover, I would just very simply not be me without this illness. I doubtlessly owe quite a few of my character traits to this ichthyosis, like my openness, tolerance, resilience. and it made me a lot stronger than I think I'd ever be without it. And in a way, it even gives me confidence. So I think I need to learn to accept these and respect these negative feelings that I feel just as much as the positive ones, because both are a part of me and a part equally worthy of love. And since these feelings are not going anywhere anytime soon, I can try to turn them into art. The next photo series is on the topic of self-perception. So in these photographs, I used the mirror to try to show to what extent the unrealistic beauty ideals set by our society can be harmful. They ought to demonstrate that what we see looking back at us in the mirror is never an objective reflection of reality. So I shot these pictures on a day where my skin was exceptionally dry and painful, and I just felt like hiding away. And I realized that my confidence and my self-perception would very often be a reflection of my feelings and the way I was feeling on the inside. I don't think it's necessary, though, to live with a rare or visible disease to get that feeling of the own body not being enough. And each and every day, every one of us has to find a way to get rid of that idea and to learn not to get pulled down by society's negativity. Because of all the reactions I used to get when I was little, I had to learn how to accept my body as it is from a very early age on. And I'm very thankful for that, actually, because once puberty hit me, I did not have most of the complexes that my friends had. So I really see that as an advantage. Our bodies are ephemeral, and life is too short to be ashamed about something we have absolutely no control over. That's the way I think most of the time, at least, because I also got days where I just feel thoroughly abhorrent. And it's sad that society's standards can have enough power over us for some of us to start hating ourselves. And so I believe it's very important to keep in mind that most of us have many of these ideals internalized. So most of the derogatory thoughts that we have that will elicit these negative feelings, they don't actually come from outside, but rather from ourselves. And so I think the best way to change that would be in a way to fight our own ways of thinking and to turn off these negative thoughts. And that's basically the way that I decided for myself to be happy without having the blessing from Heidi Klum. And the next part would be body painting, but since we have a time limit, you can just go look at them on my Instagram. It's called Kande, which is my nickname. And because you can't do anything if you really want to.
Well, thank you very much, Aicha, for your wonderful words and your wonderful photos. And you're right, that was some beautiful art that you shared with us. I just wish that, I hope that we are all taking away some wonderful things from tonight. And Aicha, I just really appreciate everything that you did. Next up, we are going to have a story from someone who could possibly be a future motivational speaker named Miss Brittany Mickens. Now, she is going to be telling a story that about how she learned to think positively about her self-worth. So let's take it away and watch Miss Brittany.
Hello, I am Brittany. At 18, I was actually diagnosed with ichthyosis. Before that, I was always told that I had really bad eczema. But finally, I was told I had ichthyosis. And growing up, my mom, she really drilled in self-confidence. Like, I know you look different from others, but you're special. You're gorgeous. One thing that has always stuck with me is when she would make me stand in the mirror and look at myself and tell myself that I love you. And for years I did that, but I just said it. But one day I really, really looked at myself and I was like, I love you. And I was like, God, you did your thing. But no, seriously, I was grateful. I became grateful for the person who he made me to be. Yes, I have ichthyosis. Yes, I look different, but that's just something that makes me me. It's a part of who I am. And I really want to share the message of self-esteem. You are worth it. You are beautiful. You aren't strange. You're just unique. That is all. And accept who you are. God loves you, and love yourself, and I love you. And there's this song by Mary Mary that I heard years ago when it first came out, and it's always stuck with me, and it's called Little Girls. And one particular line that just connected the dots for me, and everything that my mom was telling me, one thing was, when you look in the mirror, look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. No matter your flaws or downfalls, you are beautiful. So always keep that with you. And just remember that you are special. You've been put on this earth to be this beacon of light, strength, and everything. And before I go, I just want to say this one thing. Breonna Taylor, Tatiana Jefferson, George Floyd, Elijah McClain, and a whole host of others. Black Lives Matter.
Thank you, Brittany, for that testimonial about the power of positive affirmations. And I hope everyone's able to feel inspired about their own view of themselves, as well as their worth from your story. Keeping in the theme of just knowing your worth and recognizing our own importance, I'm now excited to introduce our next presenter during tonight's In Your Skin event. Please welcome Kelly Benford with her story.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I am Kelly Idella Benford from the heart and the soul of the Mississippi Delta, Greenville, Mississippi. And I am telling my story. I got sent up from the Mississippi Delta where my condition, our condition, slim to none. We're really rare down there. I thank God for giving me this opportunity to tell my story. I thank God for allowing me to be placed in a position where hopefully my story touches you in a way that I hope and I pray it does. So I am, again, Kelly Idella. I'm from Mississippi Delta. I was born and raised here where we had limited resources. I was diagnosed by my mom's gynecologist. Granted, elementary life was good, cool, straight to the point, fun. But then when I got to middle school, that's when it all hit the fan. I got around new sets of people and I almost committed suicide in 7th grade because I was placed in a classroom where I was isolated and every single human being in the classroom decided to bully me that day because my skin was bad and at the time I couldn't control my sin. So my skin was bad, my skin had a sin, it was a bug, a meaningless little fly flying around. They thought Kelly brought bugs in the school. So they threw chairs at me, they threw desks at me, they threw food at me, they threw paper at me while the teacher was in the room. Crazy, huh? But anywho, ended up losing my mom at the age of 15, which took my life in a But because of her guidance, because of her love, and because of everything that she had set for me, I was okay. That was the only person that I could really vent to about my skin, because like I keep saying, nobody down here knew what my condition was. But when she died, it opened my eyes to step up and take charge. I matter. My skin's bad, it's rough, it's itchy, but I matter. When I got to college, y'all, I was around different sets of people, different races, everything, and that's when I became an advocate for Ichthyosis on the W campus, to let the world know we matter. We're pretty dope people. I did dance events, I spoke at events, I was at anti-bullying rallies. I did it all for the sake of Ichthyosis, because like I keep saying, y'all, we really matter. Like, no, for real, like we really, really matter. As an adult now, with everything that has happened in my life, I am very proud and appreciative and blessed to say that I, Kelly Idella, has Ichthyosis. I am the only one in a room full of 1,000 people with this rare skin condition. And who can really say they the only somebody in the room with a condition like mine? Scratch that, like ours. This opportunity is very rare, and I promise you, I am very proud to say that I have Ichthyosis. It does not stop here. Make sure when you see my story, you tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you love everyone around you, no matter how weird they are, how different they are, how crazy they are. You never know what someone is going through. Granted, I came from a background of family members that, you know, supported me, friends supported me, but not everyone has that. That is why I push so hard in everything I do to love on everybody, no matter the color, no matter the condition. I don't care nothing about it. I love you because you are who you are. God created you in the image that He wanted. You know how dope that is? How rare that is for someone to create them in their image so you can be straight forever? Chill out. We're blessed. We're the rare breed. We are amazing people. We are that rare breed. Our skin popping. As you can see, you know, the light is enhancing it. But we are popping. We are amazing. And I hope that this concert and everyone else's story touches you in the way I needed to be touched. We are amazing, y'all. Like, come on. Thank you for First Foundation for even considering me. Thank you for the recommendations. Thank you to everyone that's a part of the Zoom call that I was on. Thank you for just the opportunity. Everybody be blessed. Peace.
That'd be amazing. Because, you know, I like bloopers at the end of my stuff.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Okay.
Thank you, Kelly. What a wonderful story. I mean, thank you for being that living test or giving your living testimony, because you show that even though at times we have adversity, there, you know, if you keep on fighting and keep on just doing the best that you can, you will make it through it. So I really appreciate you sharing your story. And also thank you for the wonderful outtakes. Those were very funny. So moving right along, our next person coming up is Treasure White. And she will be doing a poem called To a Dark Girl. And To a Dark Girl centers around the history of Black people in Africa and reminds us how far they have come. So without further ado, let's watch Treasure.
To a Dark Girl by Gwendolyn B. Bennett. I love you for your brownness and the rounded darkness of your breast. I love you for the breaking sadness in your voice and shadows where your wayward eyelids rest. Something of old forgotten queens lurks in the little abandon of your walk, and something of the shackled slave sobs in the rhythm of your talk. Oh, little brown girl, born from sorrow's mate, keep all you have of queenliness, forgetting that you were once a slave, and let your full lips laugh at fate. Thank you.
That was Treasure White, everyone. That poem really provided a really unique expression of a history lesson. And I think it's a powerful reminder for us to always think about exploring our past and reflecting on it in unique ways. And for my final introduction of the evening, I have the very special treat for all of you, given it's from someone you've already been seeing throughout this evening, playing double duty, not only as a co-host, but also now as a featured presenter. With a reflection to his younger self, please welcome my co-host, Lowell.
Hello, everybody. So, as an adult, I would find myself having conversations with my family and friends, discussing me having ichthyosis. And many times during the conversation, I would find myself saying something along the lines of how I wish that I had someone who was more like me in my life when I was a child, meaning like I wish I had someone who had ichthyosis, and I always felt like that they would understand me better or help me understand myself better. And then that kind of got me to thinking when I was doing this, like if I was able to go back in time and talk to myself, what would I say to myself? Like how would I help me help myself, my younger self? So this is an attempt of me actually talking to my younger self. Now, granted, it's just an audio, and I did that intentionally because I didn't want to be able to have that visual face-to-face with my younger self. I wanted it just to be me listening to myself. So I hope this helps. Let me know. Hey kid, it's me. I know you don't know who I am. That's okay. I kind of know you pretty well though. How? We don't have enough time for me to explain that right now, but if you give me a chance and hear me out, well, just close your eyes and listen for a minute. I have bad skin too. Not acne bad or bad rash bad. I mean the embarrassing skin falling uncontrollably on the floor bad. Or people staring at you like you're a monster bad. Or the mother politely pulling their child away because they want them to quit saying, "Hey mommy, what happened to that guy?" bad. And the doctor visits and skin creams and take this pill. Or the occasional, "Well, my cousin has emphysema, so I know exactly what you're going through bad." On top of all of that, making friends ain't easy. Neither is school, or college for that matter. And don't even get me started about relationships. On top of all that, surprise, you're black. Which means that there are people out there who already made their mind up about who you are, who you're going to be. To them, you're either a rapper, a drug dealer, a drug user, a thief, welfare receiving baby daddy who probably is lazy, and a deadbeat baby daddy that has an illegal gun. But you probably can sing because you grew up in a church, so you got that going for you. Oh, and you love chicken and watermelon, and you're really good at sports, except for swimming, because, you can't swim, that is. Now, dealing with that is enough to make anybody want to do something bad, lash out at the world. And it's okay to feel that way. And you are going to feel that way at times, many times actually. But when you do feel that way, remember this. That's not you. No matter what they say or what they do, that's not you. I mean, unless you make it you. You truly can be whoever you want to be, or whatever you want to be. I know people always tell people that, but it's actually true. And no matter what you do or no matter what you say, know that you're loved. How do I know? Because I love you. And I always will, no matter what. And I'm not the only one. No, actually, there's a bunch of us. They don't always like everything that you do. I mean, because let's be real. You're not perfect. Nope, not even close. But you are kind of great, and funny, and kind, and beautiful, inside and out. You always had such a hard time believing that last one. I hope that it changes because you're such a good person inside. And I personally believe in you, even when you don't. And when you finally figure out who I am, don't even try to figure out how that's possible. It'll melt your brain. And we kind of need that, for hats and stuff. Anyway, whenever you're down, for whatever reason, think about this. The world isn't actually all bad, nor is it actually all good. It's many things, with many types of people in it, and everybody is struggling with one thing or another. If you just try as hard as you can to do the best that you can, for as long as you can, well, that's kind of all that you can do. Well, that and pray. Just know that I'm praying for you, and I'm rooting for you, and I'll always be there with you. It'll all work out. It has thus far. Oh yeah, one other thing. If one day you find yourself up in your room making a recording and when you play it back you don't like the sound of your voice, don't even worry about that either. Nobody likes the sound of their voice. Later, kid. Okay, so this is current Lowell, who is now reviewing previous Lowell talking to younger Lowell. Yeah, wrap your head around that one for a moment. Yeah, I can't really comment about how I did. I hope that helps somebody. And what I think I will do is I'm going to move right on into our very next song, and that is Lift Every Voice and Sing. Now, Lift Every Voice and Sing was written by James Welton Johnson, and it is a poem that was turned into a hymn that touches on and speaks to the plight of African Americans affected by Jim Crow laws at the turn of the 20th century. It saw a lot of use during the Civil Rights Movement and was adopted by the NAACP as the Black National Anthem. So please enjoy this rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Let our rejoicing
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our co-hosts, John and Lowell. Thank you to the Release the Butterfly team. Thank you to everyone who worked behind the scenes. And thank you especially to the folks that came forward tonight to share their stories. I believe that sharing your true and honest story of your life is the most unbelievable gift that we have to offer. And to do so publicly on the world stage is one of the most vulnerable things that we can do. I commend all of the folks that came forward and trusted us and felt safe to do that tonight. I know that, like we said earlier, this is the first step of many, and I am so grateful to be on this path with you all. First is a home for everyone with ichthyosis, and it's the only home we've got, so to speak. So thank you to Jeyza Gary once again for pointing out to us the ways that we can make ourselves better. I invite anyone to always reach out to the office. You can email me, or you can email info@firstskinfoundation.org. First is ours. It's ours to own. It's ours to work for and take care of and to make better. Our mission is to improve lives and seek cures for everyone. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you especially for your patience tonight as we had to jump over to YouTube. And I do hope that you will stick around and see what our next steps are on this journey. So thank you and good night.